Aloha everyone! Welcome to our Facebook Live event here at Ke Kaiola. Today we have a really special event. We are actually saying a hui ho, or so long, farewell, to our 2 patients that we have on site. To tell you a little bit more about what we're doing today, how that's going to look, and who our patients are, we have Dr. Claire Simeon. So I'm just going to reverse this camera and introduce you to our guest speaker.
Aloha everybody. Welcome to Ke Kaiola. This is part of the Marine Mammal Center in Hawaii. And we have 2 patients in our hospital right now. We have Awapuhi and Koani Pehu, who are both going home today. Very exciting. Awapuhi is named Awapuhi, which means ginger, and that's because she was found on Jin Island on French Frigate Shoals. And that's part of the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. So many of you know the main Hawaiian Islands as Hawaii, but there's almost, more than 1,000 miles of other islands and atolls that are basically uninhabited, where the majority of Hawaiian monk seals live. And Awapuhi was rescued back in June. She weighed about the size of a small dog. She weighed about 30 pounds. She was very, very thin. She had been prematurely weaned, and she wouldn't have survived on her own. Now that she's been with us for close to 6 months, she has more than doubled her size, and now she weighs more than 120 pounds, and she's looking nice and fat. I want to show you a before picture. So this is Awapuhi before. She's actually the real small seal. So when Hawaiian monk seals are born, they're born with a black coat. And she was prematurely weaned from mom. And so she wasn't going to survive. And after spending time here in Ke Kaiola, the monk seal hospital, this is what she looks like today. With her beautiful silver coat, she's nice and plump, and she's going to be going home. Now, we also have Koani Pehu, and Koani Pehu means moonflower. And Koani Pehu was also rescued from French Frigate Shoals up in the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. And she came to us, so she is about between 1 and 2 years old. She came to us just over 60 pounds when she was first rescued. And she has doubled her weight as well. She came to us in August. And because she's a little bit older, she caught on more quickly. She was able to eat fish very quickly. And she has really just been raring to go these past few days. She has started her molt process, so Hawaiian monk seals, along with other species of seals, will lose their fur coat once a year. So she's starting to lose that. And you may notice if you see her, so let's take a look at her before. You can see how thin she was, see how thin down her neck and her hips. And you can see this green coloring, that's algae, which can cover the fur coat. And often if animals are sick or they spend a lot of time just kind of floating in the water, then they'll get that algae covering. And now she is looking nice and plump, and she still has that algae covering, but she started to lose the fur just around her nose and her eyes, and that whole coat is going to change to a nice silver color once she finishes that molt. And so we at Ke Kaiola, we can't do it all alone. We have wonderful partners that help us. So NOAA's Hawaiian Monk Seal Research Program is a phenomenal partner to us here. And they are the ones that are on the ground up in the atolls monitoring the seals. Their veterinarian, Dr. Michelle Barbieri, is going to be accompanying these patients back up to Midway. And then we also are partnering this trip with the U.S. Coast Guard, and they provide us with the flight that these animals need to get all the way back up to the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. And without these partners, we couldn't do what we do. We are able to give these seals a second chance, and it's a way that you can also make a difference. So if you live here in Hawaii, then if you see a monk seal, regardless of if they're just resting or hanging out, we want to know about it. And so you can call our hotline. So we are responsible for stranding response in the main Hawaiian Islands on the Big Island of Hawaii. And you can call 808-987-0765 and let us know where those monk seals are. You can also visit kekaiola.org or go to our main website, marinemammalcenter.org. And this is a really special day for all of us. This is Giving Tuesday, which is a worldwide day of giving, and you can really help to give support and to rescue and rehabilitate Hawaiian monk seals like Awapuhi and like Koani Pehu, because with your gift, it helps us to be able to feed them and house them and make sure that they get back safely into the wild. So we're going to go ahead and take a couple of questions as we are live. Let's see, we have Dot and Megan here. What's going on?
Claire, it looks like our friend Lucy Claire was wondering if you could tell her some of the ways we teach our seals how to forage.
Excellent. Hi, Lucy. Great to hear from you. So the question was how we teach our seals how to forage. It's really important, especially for these young seals, that they learn the ways that they're going to survive out in the wild. And monk seals like to forage or to hunt for things that kind of live under rocks and crevices and coral. So they eat things like octopus and little fish that hide in places. And so we use enrichment to help to teach them how to forage. So we have a fish box where we can hide fish down on the bottom, and they can use their skills to try to figure out where those fish are hidden and lift up the flaps. And that also, it not only helps them prepare to be back out in the wild, but it can also really help them to understand and to basically get exercise, and so that they don't get bored in this long time with us. We're going to give a second. So we're right next to the airport here at Keikaiola, so I'm going to give us a second just to look, and you can look at the facility while we're waiting.
Those airplanes may sound slightly annoying, especially on a Facebook Live event, but it's one of the reasons we chose the location for Keikaiola. It's a lot less transit time for these seals to get home, so it's actually a great thing that we're located right next to the airport. I think we have a few more questions, so I'm going to turn it back to Claire.
Excellent, yeah. Go ahead, let's hear some more questions.
We have a question from Dale and Nana. Yeah. How do you know how much to feed them?
So the question from Dale, hi Dale, great to hear from you. The question is, how much do we know how much do they get fed? So we at the Marine Mammal Center have been rehabilitating marine mammals for the past 40 years. We opened our main hospital in Sausalito, California in 1975. And so these 4 decades of experience caring for species like elephant seals and harbor seals has really helped us to understand the way that we perform our husbandry, so the way that we clean our pools, the way that we prepare our fish, and care for these animals. Because when we're caring for an endangered species, really every animal counts. And so we want to make sure that we're using the expertise that we've learned over these past 4 decades to care for them. And so we extrapolate and we look at the animals and how they're feeling, how they're eating. We ramp them up very slowly and monitor them very closely. We rely on our crews of animal care volunteers to observe them and to make sure that they're acting normally, doing the things that they should. And then that really helps us to provide feedback on whether or not they're getting the right nutrition for their stay. We've got another plane. It's a busy place here in Kona. Do we have another question?
We do. Sheila Elise wanted to know, why are the seals going back to Midway Atoll?
Great question. Hi, Sheila. So the question was, why are the seals going back to Midway Atoll? So the monk seals have to be returned to the place where they were rescued. So these are animals that are from the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. And the U.S. Coast Guard, with NOAA's Hawaiian Monk Seal Research Program, are going to be flying them back up to Midway Island. They're going to be in beach pens where they'll have a soft release. They'll get to be evaluated to make sure that they're learning how to get back into the swing of things in the wild. And so we want to make sure that they are going back to a place that's comfortable to them, and they're going back to the place that gives them the highest chance of survival. Any other questions?
Yes, there's one from Casey McDonald. Mm-hmm. Are these injured seals and seal lions that have been there since they were pups. If they have been there since they were pups, how do you teach them about natural predators and how to avoid them once they're released?
Good question. So the question, hi Casey, was about how do we teach really young animals about predators and basically how to be seals in the wild. And that's something that we have to think a lot about to try to invent ways that we can allow these seals to be wild seals. We take a lot of precautions to make sure that we're not making them accustomed to human presence. So we really are very hands-off with the seals. We monitor them on a TV here where we have remote cameras. And so we don't want them to associate our human presence with food and with other things. We use our enrichment options to allow them to start to learn how to forage, but a lot of this is something that they have to learn when they get back out in the wild, especially something like predators. And so we're helping these seals to become nice and fat and healthy and giving them the extra weight they need so that when they get back out, it often will take them a little while to kind of click in and make sure that everything is going well, but they have those extra reserves so that we at least give them the best chance using the tools that we have. We have any other questions?
We do. Elizabeth Toma wanted to know, how much do they weigh upon release?
How much do they weigh upon release? So this is one of the best things to see. You know, when these animals come in and they're just so emaciated, they're starving. A lot of times it's very touch and go at the beginning, making sure that they get the nutrition that they need. But by the time they leave, they usually have either doubled or tripled their weight. And so Awapuhi came in at 17 kilos. You're going to make me do math on Facebook Live. At 17 kilos, came in a little bit over 30 pounds and is now leaving at 60 kilos, so more than about 150 pounds. And then Koani Pehu came in at 36 kilos, so about 70 pounds or so, and is leaving at 83. So both of the animals have more than doubled to tripled their weight.
Brenda O'Neill asked, can you visit the center?
Brenda, we would love to have you visit us at the center. So Keikaiola is open to the public, and we really encourage you to stop by. So we're located just south of the Kona Airport in the Natural Energy Lab, and that is a place where you can come and you can visit other organizations that are doing work with the ocean, with marine species. You can come and see us. We have a very large education and outreach program where we're teaching schools, having kids come to visit us to see the work that we do, because it's so important for people to really get to know Hawaiian monk seals and to really love them. So we would love for you to visit us anytime. You can visit our website, keikaiola.org, and also you can visit the Marine Mammal Center website at marinemammalcenter.org, and you can find information there.
Dale has another question. He wanted to know, how much do they weigh as adults and what predators do they have?
Great question. So Dale, these animals can be more than 500 pounds when they're full grown. Let's see. We look like we may be getting close to loading up. So I want to make sure, because this is a really orchestrated balance with the U.S. Coast Guard, with NOAA, a lot of moving parts. We're on a tight timeline to make sure that we get the seals into their cages. Maybe that's the plane right now. That's not our plane, but we want to make sure that we get the seals into their cages, that we get them up on the truck. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to see in just a couple of minutes. So this burrito-looking structure here is our hospital. We have our pens and our pools. We have 4 pools, and we can accommodate up to about 10 seals. And it's covered so that we can protect the seals from ultraviolet light, which can affect their eyes. And so we're putting the seals into crates that they're going to fly up in the C-130. They're going to go up to Midway. And so we have our volunteer crews that are going to be putting the seals into the crates, and then they're going to be using a forklift, thanks to the Natural Energy Lab of Hawaii. And they are going to forklift them onto the truck, and then the trucks are going to drive to the airport. It's about a 5-10 minute drive, and we're going to meet the C-130 there, and they'll get loaded up and they'll fly directly to Midway and land there tonight. So because we don't want these seals to become accustomed to human presence, and we don't want to do anything that will stress them out any more than this process might be. So we're doing everything slowly. We're letting the animals, we put the crates in several days ago so that they had a chance to get acclimated to them, to sniff them, go inside if they wanted to, and then we've slowly boarded them up into the carriers. And then we're slowly going to wheel them out to put them on the forklift. We're not going to talk once we get to that point. We're just going to let you all watch, and then we'll have to say ahui ho as we go to the airport, and we'll say goodbye from there. But let's see. We're getting close. Do we have any more questions as we go?
There have been a few questions about why the Hawaiian monk seals are endangered.
Why the Hawaiian monk seals are endangered. So there are a lot of different reasons why Hawaiian monk seals are endangered, and there's only about 1,400 seals left on the planet, and they only live here in Hawaii. And so most of the seals that come into our hospital are starving. They're young seals that are either being outcompeted for food, they're just not thriving, perhaps they've been weaned too early from mom. We see a lot of threats to seals from ocean trash, from entanglement in ocean trash and fishing lines. We can see some diseases like toxoplasmosis that can affect seals. And all sorts of human interactions. Unfortunately, negative human interactions can really impact the small population. And that's why it's so important for every seal to get a chance to survive and to really help the population recover. And so we're so proud here at the Marine Mammal Center to be doing the work that we do to play a small piece in that role of that big family that helps to recover the species. Okay, so let's see where we're going to walk up here. So we have people, we have our rescue manager, Sylvester, who was leading the team on getting the team all set up. Aloha, Sylvester.
All right. Is Jan here?
And we have Jan from the Natural Energy Lab, who is bringing out the forklift. If you look down the corridor there, you can see the white box just outside of the doors. And that's one of our seals. I'm not sure who's in there yet. The other seal is in the other crate just to the left. And so usually it's a lot of preparation. It's a lot inside where it's covered, where it's nice and cool. We got really lucky today because it's very overcast. It's not your typical sunny Hawaiian day, but that helps us out a lot because then we don't have to think about as much about the seals overheating, and we want to minimize any time that they might be exposed to the sun and to the heat. So once they get loaded up on the trucks, some of our volunteers have gone out to the airport and they're setting up tents so that the seals, if they do need to wait for any period of time, they can go ahead and do so where they're shaded. And we also have water sprayers so that we can rinse them down so that they don't get too hot. And the seals have had a breakfast meal, and then unfortunately we skipped lunch, but they're nice and plump, so they're not going to mind. But they'll be happy to get back out at Midway tonight. And that just helps us to make sure that all of the seals are they're feeling good, that they don't have indigestion, but they tend to tolerate the transport really well, and most of the time they just sort of hunker down and look around. They might even take a snooze on the flight. So it's like flying first class, I think, and we're really thankful for the Coast Guard allowing to take a break from their rescue missions and anything else that's going on, and we had a perfect window for them to help us out with the load. Yeah, we have another question?
Yes, Malina was actually wondering about the flight. She was wondering how long their flight will be.
Yeah, so great question. The flight up to Midway, I believe, is about 5 hours long, so it's a long flight. You know, the entire Hawaiian archipelago is really long. Just the Northwest Hawaiian Islands are about the length of the U.S. West Coast. So it's a long way to go, and they'll get there in the evening. So let's take a look. We've got our forklift coming in. We have Jan from the Natural Energy Lab.
forklift operator from the Energy Lab.
So it looked like that load went really well. We had a question from Lucy who asked, do the seals get scared of the forklift? You know, it's definitely an unknown for them, and so it's totally new. You noticed, so that was Awapuhi, and you might have noticed that she had a satellite tag glued to her back, and that's just glued to the fur. That will help us to know where she's going, how deep she's diving, and the Hawaiian Monk Seal Research Program over at NOAA will monitor her really closely to make sure that she's doing well. And she was a little bit unsure. She definitely looked unsure about what was going on, but but she is resting calmly. Everything looked really, really nice with the load and went very smoothly. So we're going to get Koani Pehu loaded up next, but then we're going to make a dash to the airport. So I'm going to say aloha to all of you all, and thank you so much for joining us today on Giving Tuesday and here at Keikaiola. We can't wait to see you when you come to visit. Aloha.